Hello, Max here, and thank you to all who gave feedback for this series. I've honestly been blown away at just how much you guys seem to be enjoying it. As for the constructive criticism, it feels like it's pretty unanimous to drop the face cam, which I have done for everything I've now recorded. But until the placements are done, you'll have to put up with my tired, psychopathic mega concentration face for now. As for those of you worried about the little sleep I was getting, you'll be pleased to know things are much better and I am sleeping again. Hurrah! Alright, let's get into my second placement match where we are defending on Gibraltar as Soldier. Like any good 76 should, we're climbing onto the highest ground as awkwardly as possible. Our plan here is to defend from the high ground and jump down onto them if they push under us, or fall back to the checkpoint behind us if we're overwhelmed. I managed to land a good helix rocket onto their mercy and our Zen throws his balls in their Reinhardt's face, but our McCree gets hooked and exploded by their fat man. With one of our major damage dealers down, we decide not to drop on them and instead fall back. I immediately take the high ground. I talk about this in my Gibraltar guide, but I cannot stress enough just how good this position is as Soldier or McCree. I can do so much from up here, but I make a fatal mistake and don't note that Roadhog walks into the server room. From up here I can get so much free damage in as long as you don't let a Roadhog sneak up on you and hook you in for a scrap gun cuddle. I get really lucky and the hog fumbles the combo, allowing me to escape to the low ground where I can get some heals and a pick on the retreating Genji. Our Ana manages to put the hog down for a nap, and as the rest of the enemy are retreating or dead, McCree and I both go and put him out of his misery. On this high ground we can really deny that enemy Farah from getting anything done. When Genji comes, I drop straight down to join my team rather than risk getting burst down by my own reflected helix rocket. When I think the Genji is in a good position to get off a Dragon Blade, I use my ult to deny it, but looking back at this, I'm not convinced his sword would have done much. He was 1v4 into 2 tanks and a Discord orb. But we got the Farah and the rest had to fall back, so I reset to the high ground position. With me up here, their Farah really just can't do anything and everyone on the ground does their jobs. But then I make a bad call out.
Reinhardt's alive behind you.
Behind you is not a good call. It's meaningless to say it to 5 people unless they all happen to be looking in the exact same direction. That area is known as the server room. Never say behind you. Their last push comes with 40 seconds left on the clock, and this time Winston comes straight for me. I didn't realise he'd missed his jump, so I dropped down, but this just makes it easier to kill the monkey, and we're in a really good position to deny the Genji sword before it can do any real damage, and shut down the ulting Farah as a nice bonus. Reinhardt takes me out with a fire strike, but I'm happy with how I played, reacting well to the situation. With both their damage dealers down, our tanks and healers managed to stall long enough for us to get back to the fight. I'm still very clearly rusty on my accuracy, but it's getting better compared to the last game, and we managed to save it before the first checkpoint. When we attack, I pick up McCree, as our McCree wanted to play Genji. But if I'm struggling to feel comfortable with my aim on Tracer and Soldier, then I really have no chance on McCree. After a failed attempt to shoot things, I jump back onto Soldier, but then disaster strikes. Our Genji DCs. But the team stays positive and we deny a Reaper ult with a well-placed helix rocket. 25 HP, not even close, baby. Genji comes back and we move into the server room where I draw an outline of bullets around their Roadhog and somehow manage to kill him. But then Earthshatter slows us down. For some reason the Reinhardt chases the Winston instead of coming for me. I guess maybe Winston was low HP and he forgot there's a 200 health pickup there. His mistake leaves the objective wide open and we push in for the win. 2-0 and looking good. Placement number 3 puts us on the pool. I do enjoy a good nipple game because control maps are my strongest, and of course it means I get to play Tracer. I'm still struggling to put that cursor in the right place, but we do manage to ring that monkey's head like a bell and get out. But we blink into a charged Zarya when we only have 104 health. Far too aggressive and paid for it. Everyone else dies and we lose the point. Our next push was a huge communication problem. We planned to head down the left together, but when they had sights on us in the narrow space, some of us called to switch to the middle. Not everyone heard the call and we split up into a confused mess and everyone died. Last chance for a push to stop the enemy from winning a perfect round. I get the perfect flank on both their supports, but look where the Discord orb is. Now look who I shoot at. On top of poor target selection, I'm still very much struggling mechanically, and a Lucio ult saves a Zenyatta that should have been dead one clip earlier. I fail, the team fails, we lose the round. So much for my strongest map type. Round 2 puts us on village and the rarely sighted flanking soldier. We take him out and this allows me to get positioning behind the enemy. I go deep to get the Lucio, but a Hanzo body shot puts me down before I can recall out. Watching it all back, it may have been better to blink past the Hanzo, which would have given me time to kill the Lucio and get out. But while I was dead, my team killed them all and I came back to a blue control point. As they push, our McCree calls that their Zenyatta is low, so I blink in to finish him off, and we easily win the team fight. Their next push brings them in over the high ground, and I hide to avoid the soldier ult and try to drop the Discord orb. I come out and tunnel on the Zarya when I could be going for the Zenyatta or maybe the Hanzo, but I managed to get my pulse bomb down right in the middle of all of them, and their Lucio burns sound barrier. We do get the Zarya and fall back to the point where Roadhog is waiting. It really looked like I juked that hook, but if we watch it back slowly, he actually missed. And if it had been on target, I'd be dead. Not that it would have mattered, because Antihero lands a 4-man Graviton Surge and they all die. If we're gonna get picky, and that's what this series is all about, I should have been focusing the Zenyatta first, not the Roadhog. It's the enemy's turn for a final push before we win a perfect round, and straight away the call that Lucio is low goes out, and me and Winston pounce. At the same time, our Zen took out their Zen, and with no defensive ults available, it's easy cleanup to secure the round. Score tied at 1-1. Next up, of course, is Sanctum, and it seems Ellie is very much enjoying her new keyboard.
If I switch between speed boost and heal, my keyword is...
changing colour.
I switch out to Reaper because I don't think the very narrow space works well for Tracer, and it's not long before we see the benefits of playing Reaper here. Shotguns in an enclosed space can do a lot of work, but we end up trading fairly evenly when Hanzo puts an arrow in me. I did die with Wraith form available, which is never good on Reaper, but I thought the fight was won for some reason. Fortunately, RT wins the remaining 3v3 and the objective goes blue. When I come back, I make a major ammo miscalculation that leaves me dead under a 5-man black hole with Death Blossom available. Is there anything more painful? Oh yeah, when we lose the point. With almost no time left to take the point, we come into the back end of an enemy's Zenyatta Transcendence, and when it ends, we know what button to press. It bags us a triple kill, but we die to the Roadhog and there's no time to get on the point. Somehow Winston manages to get on there and they flip it over. I switched to Tracer because I was worried the enemy would get back before me and my team would have to fight 5v6. Thinking about it now, I died at the same time as the Roadhog, so I'm sure I could have stayed on Reaper. I get hooked by the Roadhog, but the Hog is pulled into Zarya's Graviton Surge, making him miss the kill shot. And it's a good thing too, because we gib the unmexed D.Va and then we finally stick a pulse bomb. But don't celebrate too soon, I'm still tracking enemies like a drunk toddler. It doesn't seem to be too much of a problem though, as we somehow kill the soldier. Eventually. Both teams on 99%, round 3 comes down to this last fight, which I start really out of position. I somehow manage to not get hooked and then get damage on an ulting soldier without dying. Somehow I didn't get punished, but I really was in a terrible position. Now instead of following and finishing the soldier, I turn to whiff a pulse bomb on the objective. Targeting the Roadhog here is correct because he is ulting and shutting that down is a high priority. Both sides have lost heroes and we're down to a 3v3. But we win it and bring the score to 2-1. The next round has us playing for match point on Shrine, the map we were destroyed on in round 1. We're of course on Tracer and we start off by finding an out of position soldier that I chase knowing I can recall out. We then duel the Zenyatta, and when my health drops below 100, which is low enough for Zenyatta to kill us with a headshot, I blink through him and let my team finish him off. We get 90 fire, so we did most of his health before getting out safely. Later they come in and I duel their Tracer, but despite making the right moves and picking up the health pack, I'm still not shooting well, and I die with recall available. The killing blow really took me by surprise. I thought I was out, but I guess I wasn't. Everyone else also dies and we lose the point. When we come back, an Earthshatter shuts us down and not even a Lucio sound barrier is enough to save the push. I managed to get the Reinhardt, but with everyone else dead, I think it's time to bug out. Next push, we decide to come over the high ground with a pulse bomb and graviton surge ready to combo. D.Va drops her self-destruct, so I hide, and anti-hero catches unmech'd D.Va and 2 others in a black hole. But by the time I get into pulse bomb, D.Va is in her mech and gets her defense matrix up a nanosecond before my pulse bomb stops being a projectile. I chase the low health Tracer and embarrassingly get juked when I should have known she would be going for the health pack. No point chasing her now when there's still threats on the objective. And, well, she comes back in and we get her anyway. When they next come in, I'm holding the left again and take on Zen and D.Va. I probably should have backed away, but I stay and kill Zen. However, not before he got a headshot, making it an easy finish for the D.Va. Most of us die and all the disappointment is too much for Winston to take, so he decides to end it all. 97% to 93%. It comes down to this last push, win the game or go to round 5. I tunnel the objective to make sure we hit that overtime, but get booped and have to come in from the side, setting up the perfect positioning to drop a pulse bomb along their retreat path. Boom, soldier and unmech'd D.Va who just popped her self-destruct. But is it enough to win the game? Of course it was, as 3 games and 3 wins, on to game 4. We're defending on Hanamura and for some reason I think I'm ready for McCree. Genji comes through and disappears round the back. And when he comes back, I'm clearly not ready for McCree. It seemed none of us are ready and the first point falls quickly. The enemy then quickly push the top left high ground and my panic flash leaves me more dazed than the ulting Genji. Mei holds onto her ult a little too long and the second objective falls faster than the first. Time to attack, so I'm back on Tracer. But we all stand at the entrance giving the Reinhardt God knows how much ult charge from this fire strike. After much standing at the choke and not being nearly aggressive enough, we finally go for a push. I managed to get into a flanking position and head towards the objective. I found an ulting McCree who was looking the wrong way, and instead of double blinking on top of him and bursting the easy headshots on a near stationary target, I don't know what I'm doing. Somehow I'm not punished for being a complete and total retard and we're able to stay alive long enough to flank the right side with our Winston and bag a Zenyatta kill, but this McCree's headshots are on point. Next, we go in and die. Then, we go in and die. Morale at this point is super low, so time for a pep talk.
Doesn't matter, we need to learn how to beat this, because whether we can win the game or not, we need to learn how to push through this.
When Zenyatta gets his ult, we push through and all of a sudden not only can I track a target, but I can actually hit their head. More of this, please. We narrowly miss becoming a stain on a golden axe before the 2p Reinhardt drops an earth shatter that could end it all. He has no health and the reloading Zarya tries to be a real hero and save our Ana with a quick melee, but he's not in range. But don't worry, we get him and the point is ours. We push it in the top right with a nano-boosted ape and our McCree shuts down a Genji sword. But everyone changed direction and left Zenyatta to die to their McCree at the top of the stairs. Somehow this pulse bomb gets some revenge and we get down onto the objective. Both Zaryas decide this is time to black hole and I use everything to escape. Unfortunately, more of ours are dying than theirs and we don't get the objective. We're back on the top right because it's often the best way to push into Hanamura's second objective, and when their Genji forces our Zenyatta to ult, we use that to push. Then a giant clusterfuck happens and I accidentally kill 2 people with a pulse bomb. What actually happened is their Reinhardt ulted, it missed me, but then he charged and pinned me, but it was only for a fraction of a second because our Reinhardt saved me with an earth shatter of his own, and then my pulse bomb went off. Their mercy then undoes all my hard work and I kill their Zen. I should have been able to recall out after Zen died. There really was enough time, but I was just too slow. But it's all good. While I was dead, my team were doing good things, tying us at 2-2. We really have crawled our way back into this game. Since we have less time left, we're attacking first and I pick up Reaper. They grab a Mei and an easy pick onto our Winston. We eventually push with a Zen ult, but we forgot about the wall. But she messes it up and leaves a gap. God, that felt good. Let's just see that again real quick. Beautiful. But then, disaster. I didn't hear the high noon go off and I die with Wraith form available. But it's not over yet. Resurrect keeps us in it, and this time I decide to use Wraith form to not die to Reinhardt's axe. The objective is ours, and we're given 30 seconds to get objective B. Without time for anything else, we go straight down the middle, but Mei denies it. I should have backed off, but instead dropped down to the low ground, where there Genji takes out our McCree, and I'm forced to Wraith form for a health pack. McCree then puts 2 shots in my head, and there really wasn't anything I could have done about it. 3-2, and they have 6 minutes on the clock. I stick with Reaper with 1 target on my mind. And this time, he's no problem. They pick our McCree and use that to push in, so I drop down to defend my team. The Zarya bubble means I need to change target, so Wraith form and move to protect the flank. I didn't need to though, because our Zen destroyed their McCree. Still, I think it was the right decision. I then make a common mistake and reload when Zarya shields herself. Big mistake. I could have blasted through that and killed her, or changed target to the Lucio. No need to reload. Somehow the team manages to hold, and I head back to the high ground to stop Genji. He doesn't come though, and the enemy pushes in off a Zarya ult, but our Mei divides them up. I drop down to get some frontline damage in, but we seem to be cleaning everything up, and I head back to the front. But there was a Genji in the back with an ult. He manages to kill our Zen before I get back and use my ult to clear out the Genji and the Lucio I was chasing. While we trade fairly evenly in the end, their spawn is much closer, and it's not long before they're on the objective. I go for a high risk, high reward teleport to try and get behind them as my team pushes from the other side. But it doesn't work, and I just die doing something stupid. I probably should have teleported slightly to the left on the stairs where I would have had cover. I switched to Tracer to try and get back quickly, but the objective was lost. We repel a push on the low ground by walling off a McCree ult, and I drop in behind to kill him. Their next push comes in the top left, and they bring a Graviton Surge to an Earth Shatter fight. They did manage to get a sound barrier up before they're stunned, but my pulse bomb makes light work of it before we clean them all up. They come again, this time from the same angle with an aggressive speed boost, and I adjust to flank the attack. Seeing juicy supports, I go in, but as soon as I see the McCree, I blink out to avoid a flashbang. But McCree sees me, and he does not miss those headshots. Down on the ground, McCree and Zenyatta delete their Genji, and we're looking good. With 40 seconds left, we're close to drawing a game that everyone thought we were for sure going to lose. They've brought out an Ana and change it up with a low ground push. I manage to get in behind and stick the Reinhardt, which kills their McCree. And after Mei takes out their Ana, they are forced to use an early resurrect. We're looking good with ult advantage, but then I get lost trying to flank. I honestly don't know what I was thinking, but when I come back, the enemy are on the objective. 8 seconds left. Can we do it? Nope, sadly not. If you're wondering what that god-awful pulse bomb was, I managed to somehow accidentally blink when I had the shot in the bag. This video is going up very late for me because I had some technical issues, but I'm going to try and get the next couple of these out daily to get the placements out of the way and get to the games where I'm not a tired, out of practice mess. So hopefully you should be seeing another Road to Masters tomorrow. Until then, take it easy, and I'll see you soon.